One of the questions that need to be answered is, how can I get to know somebody in a halal manner? Because unfortunately a lot of the youth think that Islam is, you don't see the person you want to marry, it's just you meet on the wedding day and khalas, you get married. And obviously we know that's not the case. How could one go about getting to know the opposite gender in a halal manner?
You know, before I answer that, let me quickly tell you that my brothers and sisters, I'm not encouraging you to just bypass your parents. Your parents are the most important figures in your homes, in your house. There is so much of rights they have. You must discuss these matters, have an open relationship with them. But what I am trying to do is, those of us who do find ourselves in this type of position, predicament, I'm asking the parents to be more understanding and to let things happen. You know, I have children, I have ideals for them, but trust me, and I have proven myself. If one of them would come to me and tell me, I'm interested in marrying so-and-so, I'm interested in two things, deen and akhlaq. You have it and you're interested and both parties are interested. I am only a facilitator of what Allah has instructed me to facilitate. That's all. What happens, happens later. Please, let's open our eyes and continue. So, regarding the question of how do I meet in a halal way, halal dating, and I think we'll end with this one, right? Or one more. Okay, no problem, no problem. We have the vote, it's okay. We're still there. You're still the mayor. So basically, halal way of, it's not dating, it's actually meeting. You see, in Islam, it's actually a sunnah to see your spouse. You know, you speak to the person, you meet them. But it must be under supervision so that you're not abused. I tell you. The main thing is the issue of a chaperone. So if you have a girl, for example, she's seen a brother, it can happen, and she's interested. Wallahi, the best way of doing it is you get hold of your own brother, your father. You know, I have such a relationship with my children, I will do it for my daughter, any day. And if she's interested in someone, I'll go meet him, and so on, and tell him, hey, listen, you know, my daughter's showing an interest, for example, in you, and let's just get to know each other. You know, what do you think? And I can gauge, and don't involve your chaperone after you were already aborted once. You know what I mean? After everything's over, you're already in such love that there's no way that you're going to take no for an answer. That's a mistake that people make. You involve your family far down the line, you see. So what happens is, initially they will look and they will then introduce you officially. I'm here, for example, and you can be seated there and have a nice chat, mashallah, coffee, a tea. I might not be able to listen in to exactly what you guys are saying, but mashallah, you're under the eye. There's no kissing, no touching, no nothing. Because why? There can't be emotions at that stage. You're talking, you're discussing. What do you like, what do you not like? You see how the person speaks, how they look, they stand, how tall, short, all these things. It's permissible to look at these things, okay? So if you're satisfied, you can let your parents know. If both of you are satisfied and you're happy, alhamdulillah. If not, nowadays a lot of the people say, I need to meet you again. It's not enough. So you meet again, and you meet again, and you meet again. Every time, similar condition. There is no restriction as to the amount of meetings. Some people come to you and say, no, you must meet once and that's it. And you know what? You bring the tea in and you just say, Salaam alaikum, and you walk out. And he's seen the tea. Subhanallah. A wise guy will say, hang on. You brought me milk tea, I don't want milk tea. I need another cup of tea. I need green tea. And then she speaks to you. And then, trust me, the tea business was belonging to the 1960s and 70s. Subhanallah. At the moment, it's cappuccino, guys. So, you need to know, you're allowed to meet, you're allowed to talk, you're allowed to have a coffee together, you're allowed to sit and chat. You must know, because the last thing you want is for your daughter to marry a guy who's only marrying your daughter because he wants to please his parents, but he's got something on the side. And your daughter is banished. Wallahi, it's happening. Every day it's happening. And they tell you 2 years later, I never wanted to marry you. I've already got my girlfriend. I've already got 3 children from her, and so on. And you're like, why didn't you tell me? Well, I did it for my parents. The punishment of those parents is severe. You destroyed the lives of people. So it's best to be honest, to say, listen, we're wasting time. I've already got someone. My parents are just being funny. Thank you so much. I respect you. I salute you. Shukran. I will say no for you. Thank you.
Brothers and sisters, let me share with you something. When you get interested in someone, you go through 3 stages that scientists have studied. Number 1, there is the lust stage. When you lust for someone, 2 hormones are released in your brain. For the men, more testosterone. For the girls, more estrogen. This hormone does nothing except it serves your reward center. It's like drugs. Once you feel it the first time, you want to feel it again. No purpose except feeling. Once you fall into lust, there is a second stage if you continue following that relationship, and it's called attraction. It lasts for weeks or months. In the halal way, they are the people who are engaged to be married. Attraction releases hormones called dopamine and other hormones, and it lessens something called serotonin. Serotonin gives you satisfaction, security, and so on. The others, they make you energetic. You start to fantasize a lot. You start to get energetic, start doing things you never did before. And then you say, wow, he's changed me. She has brought out something in me that I've never seen before. He said words to me that no one's ever said to me before. They just flooded me. This is not real. These are just the hormones telling you that. It lasts for about a few weeks and months. And what happens is that you feel this beautiful thing coming, which is nice in the halal way, beautiful. Enjoy it in the halal way. It's beautiful. It's one of the best things you can ever, and really embrace it, because you're not going to feel it much again later on. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't leave you there. If you follow that relationship, it turns into something beautiful, and it's called attachment. This is the husband and wife. This is a family attachment. And attachment releases a beautiful hormone called oxytocin. And that is the hormone that makes you feel secure, safe, loved, self-esteem, value. Like, what's the difference between being married and having a relationship outside of it in the same way? They're still sleeping together. They still look at each other like, you're for me, I'm for you, nobody else can touch you. Sometimes they share wealth together, sometimes they have children together. What's the difference? A word. The only difference is one is commitment and value, the other one is not commitment and not as much value. He's not really valuing her. She's not really valuing him because they're not ready to commit. Wallahi, I've spoken to non-Muslims about this all the time. They say, yeah. One non-Muslim lady says, we've been in a relationship for like 7 years, and I've been telling him, let's get married, and he's just not ready. I said, well, if he values you, he'll get married. He goes, yeah, I want to value me. Value. Marriage is the best solution for staying away from this harm and from zina.
I am in relationship and I'm continuing without any haram. Can I continue the relationship? The question posed on the YouTube is that a person is saying, I'm in a relationship and I'm not doing anything haram. Can I continue the relationship? If you say you're in a relationship, it's a very vague terminology. What do you mean by you are in a relationship? I mean, if you're in a relationship with an opposite sex, or a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and you're saying, I'm in a relationship but I'm not doing anything haram, it is difficult to imagine what you're doing that is not haram. Okay, if you love someone and you haven't told her, khalas, and you only think about her, as long as you don't think something which is obscene, it's fine. But if you're in a relationship with her and you talk to her and you keep on talking itself to a non-mahram, or chatting, or speaking, or meeting in any way, unnecessary, it is haram. Where there's a requirement, meeting opposite sex, if there's a requirement, if you're talking, lowering your gaze, it's permitted. But if you're in a relationship, and if you love her, and if you say, look at her, nothing happens to you, then you require a psychiatrist. So, you cannot say that I'm in a relationship, and I'm not doing anything haram, can I continue the relationship? It's not possible. If you like someone, you can propose and marry, that's the best. You cannot say, continue the relationship, because I cannot imagine what you will do which is not haram. Unless you don't tell her, unless you don't meet her, unless you don't continue, it's possible. But if you're going to meet regularly, or if you're going to chat regularly, it's difficult to imagine that how can you continue without doing anything which is not permitted in the Sharia. So the best would be that if you think she is a good girl, okay, meet the parents, propose to her and get married, that's the best. Hope that answers the question.
Not into the talk. He ran for it. وَاسْتَبَقَ الْبَابِ. Don't sit there and just talk to the girl and say, astaghfirullah, that's haram, sister. You really should think about what you're saying. No, don't give her advice. You're not giving her advice. You're just spending more time with her. Be honest to yourself. Get away from there. Get away from that conversation. Don't pursue it further. Don't respond back to her. You're in Ramadan, man. Don't respond to her text messages. Don't do it. Make tawbah from it. Don't even say, I won't text you anymore. Don't say it. You know, why aren't you responding to my emails? No, astaghfirullah, it's Ramadan. Don't even respond. Do not engage. The same thing goes for the girls. If you guys want to really take advice from the Quran, this is real stuff. This is not just a story. This is your story. This is what you're up to right now. And if you're involved in this and you heard these ayat of Quran, Allah will ask you and me on Judgment Day, these ayat you heard, you think they were just stories? They weren't talking about Islam? Makes you really rethink what you're doing with your life. You're praying, you're fasting, you're trying to read Quran, and there's a girlfriend? There shouldn't be. You really need to think that this is not a small sin. This is not something small you're doing. You're playing with your own faith. And I pray for you, and I pray that you're strong enough to do the right thing and cut off a haram relationship. And if you cannot cut it off, that you make it halal, that you man up and you make it into a halal relationship. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.